We are back to the warehouse for Blitzball Battle 5 team profile and projections. Maybe baggage won't disappoint me this year. Let's talk Blitzball. Welcome to the Blitzball Boys, the podcast about Blitzball and boys, but lately about Blitzball. I'm your co-host, Brendan Reppel, along with my fellow host, Peter Del Rey.
Hey, Brendan. We're talking about the bosses today.
The bosses.
The bosses. Hugo and another man whose last name is Boss.
I thought you were going to go like, who's the boss? People like Angelo.
Angela.
Angelo.
Yo, Angelo.
That's
who's
a joke
the
from
boss?
my gym class. We had a gym teacher named Angelo, and we would joke that whenever he would do burpees, he would go, Angelo, because that's his name is Angelo.
Say it. That's such a good joke. All right, guys, this is how you do the burpees. You go, Angelo. That's so good.
I think about it all the time.
Oh, my God. What a good joke. I love that.
Oh.
We're not talking about Angelo.
No.
We're not talking about Angela. We're not talking about Hugo.
Nope. Jimmy and Jake.
We're two handsome guys, Brendan.
Jimmy and Jake.
Jimmy and Jake
the short
are
kings.
Also two handsome guys.
They are two handsome guys. Not too handsome, just handsome enough.
They're too handsome. One of them's too handsome.
We won't tell which.
Fight about it
Stay
in the comments.
tuned to our Patreon episode where we just, the whole episode is just, we tell you who it is. Just the name.
We know who it is, though.
We'll let you guys vote, though.
You guys have to vote in the comments. Fight about it in the comments.
But the popular vote does not get
Popular
the
vote doesn't
candidacy.
count. No.
Like
Brendan and I are both super delegates.
That's true.
And we do not, we have a history of not abiding by our constituents.
That's right.
But we're talking about Jimmy and Jake, who Brendan and I have been talking about this for a while, off the pod and on the pod. If you listen to previous episodes, like before our hiatus,
We talk about it every morning and every night.
every single morning and night. Jimmy and Jake have not had sustained success since Blitzball Battle 1, where they made the final.
Mm-hmm.
Right? They obviously made the Floorball 1 final, but we've talked to Jimmy, we've talked to Jake. They have both said Blitzball is the crown jewel. They want the Blitzball title.
Yeah. It's the original sport in the warehouse.
They've kind of like gone from, hey, we're top 2 into, hey, we don't know if they're even going to make it out of the first round of the playoffs.
Is it interesting because like they're the ones that they started the back alley at bats. They played a little bit with like BBD and Plouffe back in the day in some little episodes. They brought the sport into the warehouse, taught everyone how to play, and then everyone got better than them fast.
Yes.
And for all those reasons is why, if you've been listening to the show with us for the past, how long have we been doing this? Like a year and a half?
I think so. Something
Something like that. But I've been vocal about how baggage for me trumps all of my other fandom. I want them to win in every sport first and foremost.
Yeah.
And apparently that's not an unpopular thing, even amongst like JM workers too. But
who's telling us that? Somebody we talked to, somebody who we interviewed. You could go back and listen to all our interviews. Tell me who it is. Somebody said that everybody started off as a baggage fan.
Yeah.
I can't remember who it was.
Who knows? But yeah, I root for them. I think that's why I will always be the harshest on baggage when they don't perform, because they're like my Yankees of the warehouse. Like I want better for them. I know they can do better, and they do work hard when they get the chance to actually be in there to practice. I know Jimmy's always tinkering with pitches. Jake worked on getting his velo up last season, and that was helpful. I think if we're going to dive into like their issues now, but what happened last year, I think it's been this way for the past few seasons. They have had no pop.
When you say Jake got his velo up last season, are you talking, because they've had a Blitzball tournament since Blitzball Battle 4. Are you talking Captain's League Blitzball, or are you talking Blitzball Battle 4?
Battle 4. And even Blitz, I think, was when it started to tick up a little bit too.
Yeah.
But Blitzball Battle 4, I don't remember so much of Captain's League. I think it was still kind of up there. Maybe he like held back a little bit because it's not as important.
Jakey too.
But there's the stuff that they have gotten better with. But do you remember last season? I think it was during the not the Captain's League. It was during the Blitzball Battle 4. Right. There was a whole storyline going into like one of their last games that Jake hadn't hit a home run in X amount of at-bats.
Yeah.
Jake was the MVP of BB1?
Yeah.
That's not the guy. Yeah, that
Trevor
guy
was all
should be
pissed off about it.
Yeah, that guy should be hitting dongers left and right.
Dong balls.
That's where I want to start. I mean, they're a team that doesn't have a true ace. It could depend on the day. They could both be bad. They could both be good. One could be pretty decent, but they need to more consistently hit for slug.
Right. We kind of talked about this last episode when we were talking about Del Caribe, where we said, like, Jimmy and Jake don't really have an X factor player. Like all these teams have like, hey, this is the main guy, with the exception of maybe like Lovia's and We Got Ice, where they're both kind of dangerous.
Yeah.
And I guess Hook, Line, and McFlurry as well, but to a much lesser extent.
Yeah.
Jimmy and Jake kind of show up, and how many times have we seen a tournament now where it's like, in Blitzball Battle 1, we like watching all the backyard at back alley at bats, we were thinking, oh, Jimmy's the better player. Jake always blows up on the mound, and then Jake ends up winning MVP.
Yeah.
Then it felt like Blitzball Battle 2, Jimmy was like the main guy for baggage. And if you look at the stats, lifetime, quote unquote lifetime, because like we said in the last episode, it's only going to be stats from what we had, which was Blitzball Battle 3, Blitzball Battle 4, Captain's League Blitzball, and Blitzball Blitz. They're kind of just even with each other. With Jake taking a little bit of the edge in like the batting.
Yeah. But he should have a bigger leap above
They're very
Jimmy.
even.
But they're
you
even.
You don't know who is going to be like the better player until the tournament starts. And then in that first game, you're going to be like, oh, Jimmy's the ace this time, or Jake's the ace this time. Which is like, you could argue, we were talking before, you could argue that as kind of a strength because it would nobody can really prepare for them. But at the same time, this may be a controversial opinion. It's a baseball adjacent sport. It's not like an adjustment to say, oh, we should now be playing to Jimmy being the strong one versus Jake being the strong one. It's not that huge of an adjustment.
Right. Yeah, it's interesting how balanced they are. It's almost like when you play like a Mario Sports game and you draft Mario's team. You get like the perfectly balanced team. They with that though, since they don't have a lot of power or pop, unless Jake decides to like turn it on, and maybe if in my brain he has been swinging like down at the like chopping at the ball, and maybe there's some like I don't know, some technique that needs to be tinkered with there, and that'll get him some more loft on it. But I know for a fact that Jimmy has talked about how pissed off he gets when they just hit singles. The amount of times that they've loaded bases and not gotten runners in or enough runs in, they go into seasons knowing that that's their big issue. They can walk, they can get singles, but how many hits can you string together in order to get a big inning? It's so much more difficult to string together 5 hits, because what does that get you? 5 hits get you 2 runs.
Right.
It's not enough, and especially in this league where everyone hits. Another thought I had too is it's interesting talking about how they don't have a true ace. They're almost like the bad version of Hookline. How Hookline is like has 2 elite pitchers. If you just dilute a little bit, you get baggage.
That's pretty rude. All right. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's not a Blitzball Boys episode without something like that.
Yeah.
But I get what you're saying. I do get what you're saying. It's Hookline is a team where you can count on both of the pitchers to show up. And it's kind of like, hey, is Drew going to be in his head at the plate? Is Dan going to be able to hit the ball? That's their problem. Right. Whereas over here, it's kind of, hey, if Jimmy and Jake are both in their head on the mound, they're fucked big time.
Yeah.
Because at the same time, it's not like Jimmy and Jake are such superstars at the plate, like you were saying. They're good for Jimmy can, if he's in the right headspace, he'll get you singles. But Blitzball is not a game that wins on singles. When we look, right, we see who's one of the more dominant players in this league or in these tournaments. It's usually Lou, right? And Lou is a doubles machine. Lou absolutely thrives on hitting doubles.
Yeah.
And that's what helps, Del Caribe play their game and not get, blown out every game. Granted, it's tougher for them because they are, I'm sorry, Joes, I love you, but they're usually playing 2-on-1. Yeah. Whereas John Boy and Jake, they're like...
They compete. They do compete.
The Mario analogy is so interesting because they are balanced. They're both balanced. They're both kind of good at pitching and kind of good at hitting, and they could turn it on at times for both. But they usually sit like pretty good, not great. I mean, you look at these stats, some key stats that I pulled out. The only thing that Jimmy or Jake are in the top 5 for lifetime is RBI, where Jake is 4th. But that's it.
Yeah, and a lot of that damage is done early in history.
Yeah. Like, in the last tournament alone for batting, Jimmy had 3 RBI, Jake had 5. Not awful, but, like, how many games did they play,
Yeah.
They got knocked out in the first round of the playoffs. So, like, what can you do? They need to figure it out. They need to get better. Here's the thing. Here's my prediction. PD's prediction. Hit the button, Brendan. They are getting eliminated first round again.
Wow.
They have not. They haven't shown me enough. Look, I was just thinking about it before when we were talking about Captain's League, Jimmy and Jake led Captain's League as pitchers with amount of hits given up.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not the good way.
It's not the good way.
It's not the good way.
No.
Fuck. Jimmy gave away 9 hits, 6 earned runs. Jake gave up 15 hits, 10 earned runs. Like, that's not ideal. You don't want that. Especially going into a Blitzball battle when you have other people in this tournament like, let's see, Dalton, who threw 129 pitches and only allowed 2 earned runs. 10 strikeouts, 2 hits. Like, Lovies are going to be a force because Dalton's whole thing was, Dalton can't throw strikes.
And then Captain's League was just different.
Then you have, like, Lou giving up 1 home run. Dan Rourke. Or, I'm not 1 home run, sorry, 1 run. Dan Rourke, 3 runs. But that's off 17 pitches. That's not a very good number.
Not very good.
Jack gave up 4 runs. Like, even Zoe, 64 pitches, 5 runs. It's not ideal, but it's better than 10. 10 on 95, too, for Jake.
Yeah.
Like, these other guys who were playing in Captain's League were arguably out-pitching these two, and they're both on the same team. Now, granted, we've seen him before. This stuff doesn't necessarily translate directly. Because look at how we saw going into Blitzball Battle 4, they did Blitzball Blitz beforehand, where Jack and Zoe completely dominated, right? And then that did not translate to Blitzball Battle 4.
Yeah.
If we could see this tournament where some, lightning strikes the same spot twice, Jimmy and Jake are both firing on all cylinders. Jake's hitting his home runs. Jake's doing a decent job in relief. Jimmy's doing a great job starting. Sure. I think the best they could do is semifinals. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But, the fan in me wants to disagree with you and think that they could win everything, but you're right, like, they need so much to go their way. And from what we've seen the past 3 seasons is that nothing goes their way. Everything always goes the other direction, almost comically so. And I think it's a testament to what we've been saying all episode long, is that they're both pretty good. But a lot of times pretty good will get you close to the finish line, but not all the way through. So you'll have a great competitive game, but if the other team plays a little bit better than you, you're bound for heartbreak, and they have a lot of heartbreak in their history. But with that said, though, I feel like the heartbreak history leads them to be like due for some positivity.
Do the do,
which is sponsored this tournament, I'm pretty sure. I don't know. They're really just due for some luck to be thrown their way.
I like your optimism.
They have to be. And Blitzball Battle 5 is such a round number. It's like a big deal. It's historic. It's the end of the first ever Warehouse Cup.
Yeah. I don't know.
The storyline is there. Like, I think, and they want it so badly. I think there's some games where you look at them and you're like, I think they want it more than anyone else because they've been through such turmoil.
Maybe, but that doesn't really do much when you come up against Jimmy Norp,
Yeah.
Jimmy Norp, like Lou at some points, has been playing 2-on-1 and he's been pulling it out. That's the difference there. Is like Jimmy Norp comes up I don't care how much Baggage wants it. I can't see them beating Woogas. You know?
They almost did it. They were a pitch away. They were a pitch away from doing it.
They were a pitch away, but what happened?
Bad splitter.
Doesn't matter. It does not matter.
He threw a
I
fucking,
think at the end of the day...
A Mark Leiter Jr. splitter.
Come on, Brendan.
That's what it is.
He's a good man. He tries his best.
Which one? Jimmy or Mark Leiter?
Shut the fuck. Shut your fucking mouth, bro. At the end of the day, I want Baggage to win. To your point about luck and them getting luck, I guess I could argue against it and say they're getting luck as owners of the company by getting all these clippable moments of them getting destroyed.
I think you're saying they're lucky to even be invited to the tournament.
Yes.
Wow.
I just go full rude. You think you were rude before, Brendan?
Watch this one.
We haven't been talking about milk for a while. Maybe that's why.
We're not in the middle of the season yet. We haven't picked our drink of the season.
No, it's always going to be milk.
They don't know that yet. Maybe it'll be chocolate milk.
Oh, chocolate milk, not milk. Famously not milk.
Maybe it'll just be milk with crushed up sprinkles and it'll be birthday milk.
Maybe it'll be like... No, I can't do
breast
inside
milk?
jokes. I can't do inside jokes on this. I was going to talk about cereal milk. And then adjacent to cereal milk is your good friend, and my good friend, Brian Bylicki's idea for a bar. That
Which
got
has been done.
We
Probably been done before he ever
him,
talked about it.
We told him that how stupid of an idea it was, and then it turned into a thing, and he was so upset about it.
I swear the year he said that, I was in the city and I saw like, oh, there's a bunch of these places that already exist.
The year he said that, I kept thinking, like, this is the dumbest. There's no way they still exist.
Yeah, they're probably gone.
We'll talk. I'll look it up later.
Okay.
But prediction for Pete, out in the first round.
Okay.
Pessimistic Pete. Hashtag it.
Mm-hmm.
Tattoo it on your body. Put it on your car. Just married? No. Hashtag pessimistic Pete.
Still lots of cans, though.
Still lots of cans. Still handsome, even though pessimistic Pete.
My prediction. Optimistic Brendo.
Wow. Another
rolls off
alliteration.
the tongue. I think that they win the championship. Don't laugh.
No. You laughed. You laughed at yourself.
Now, pull this clip. Put it up again once they win the championship. Us laughing in their face. Like, the way they're going to do this.
As he says that they're going to win the championship. Alex Bregman. No. Yeah, Alex Bregman's Jake treatment. That's what Jake's going to do. If Baggage win the championship, Jake's going to clip this of you being like, they're going to win the championship.
Okay, fine.
Whatever.
Do it.
As long as I get on Jake's feed, I don't give a shit.
I love his feed.
I love his feet.
Oh, I love his
Whoa.
Oh, I knew we'd get here. I should have ended this sooner.
All right. Baggage, please prove me wrong. I love you, and I want you to do better than I say you're going to.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Jimmy has nice feet, too.
Jimmy has nice feet, too. Brendan, what do people with nice feet like Jimmy, what should they be drinking?
Well, if you have a delightful pair on you.
No, I don't like that one. Let's do that one again. If you have what?
Nice feet? Are we still talking feet? Talking toes?
Yeah, we're talking feet, toes.
Oh, other podcast idea. Talking toes.
All right. John Boy Media, don't steal that.
Don't steal that. Don't steal that. Please.
Don't steal that from us. I know talking is your thing. We'll add the G. Don't worry about it. We're going to be talking toes.
That's their one qualm they have.
That's their one thing. Wow, actually, we have talking. Oh, sorry, we'll be talking toes. Don't worry about it. But then everybody's going to think that we are toes that are talking. Oh, my God. The hoops we need to jump through to get to appease you guys.
Drink Subtlety is a drink made by me. You can find it at thesubtlety.com. $2 off your order with code HobbyBoys. Hobby Boys is my other podcast that by the time this comes out will have had their 100th episode. Probably we already recorded the 101st one as well. We'll be on a good, solid schedule. There's probably going to be a lot of absurd clips from the 100th episode because we're going to be drinking 100 shots of beer in 100 minutes. I already texted Brian today saying, is that a pair of balls? Or is that like an exciting thing? Oh, it's confetti.
100.
Whee! I texted Brian today saying, I'm starting to get nervous about this, like for our well-being. Actually, no, I'll be fine. I'm worried about you. You're going to be shit-faced after an hour. Anyway.
Oh, my God. Brendan, he's going to be shit-faced after a minute.
Yeah. He's doing vodka.
Those are the best episodes, though, when Brian's drunk.
They're going to be interesting. It'll be interesting for sure. So check that out.
With your eyes.
With your eyes. On the
I have
tube.
nothing to plug, or I'm anti-Matthew right now.
Yeah, he's bad.
If you see Matthew Del Rey in the street, my brother, fucking flip him off.
Fuck
Call
him.
him a piece of shit. Read a book to him. Put him to sleep.
Yeah, read a book
Right?
to him.
Read
He'll
2
hate
books to him. He'll hate books. Hates books.
He hates books.
Beyond that, I got nothing. We're not plugging anything
Okay.
from Pete right now.
Oh my god, the Yankees are losing 8-1.
No, Brendan, you just dated the episode. That's the only time they've ever lost by that. All right, Brendan. Got any? Or you got ask me a question?
You have anything else to talk about?
Nope.
Bye.
Bye.
Take it.